Hello, everyone, and welcome to Feet Planted LLC. My name is Karen Mayfield Felton, and you have just joined us for our Mompreneur event. As usual, I'm going to let the music play. It's been curated by my husband and partner in life, Al Felton. So while we listen, I'm going to throw this up there for you all so you can actually see what we're doing here. The power of perseverance. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Miss Linda Cross is my guest. Wave, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Linda. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing wonderful this evening. Thank you so much for having me on this evening, on tonight.
Yes, we're going to have fun and learn a lot about the power of perseverance, celebrating mom entrepreneurs. If you have never been to one of my live sessions or one of my events, again, my name is Karen Mayfield Felton, and I'm the owner of Feet Planted LLC. Feet Planted LLC is a company that I started to help early career professionals be successful in STEM and in life. We talk about life aspects. We take ourselves with us everywhere we go. So my platform does not just highlight STEM, it highlights what I think is interesting, not only to me, but to our community. So if you would like to know more about Feet Planted LLC, please visit my website at www.feetplantedllc.com. So without further ado, I want to talk about why we're here. So I am a daughter. I am sandwiched between two sisters and I have a mother. So to celebrate Mother's Day, I have to show you who she is. So I'm just going to put this up, take us out of the picture. This beautiful woman, her name is Dr. Carolyn Mayfield. She's probably going to be not so happy with me maybe for posting all these pictures of her, but it's Mother's Day. It is May, y'all, and I have to let you know that she is my inspiration. My mother was a professional woman. She's retired now. English professor, entrepreneur. She had multiple businesses, grant writing, reviewing dissertations. She was on the board of many, many associations. And so at a very young age, talk about hustling. I don't like to call it hustling. I really prefer to call it walking in your gifts. This woman right here is where I learned my business acumen. And so while we are in the month of May talking about the power of perseverance, this is where I got my idea from. I got it from her. And our very first guest, Miss Linda Cross, is the author of Pursuit of Momminess. So tonight you all are in for a treat. Not only is she going to talk to us about what it means to be an entrepreneur, I've got some questions. She's going to drop knowledge. She is going to give us insight of what it's like to launch out there. And so I hope that you all have pen and paper. I hope that you are ready to learn and to get some really good advice and insight from us this evening. Before we get to our introductions, I just want to let you all know that entrepreneurs make excellent community leaders, civic leaders, workers. We solve problems. We actually know how to take risks. And it has been documented that entrepreneurs play a great role in our community. We're able to provide services. We're able to reach broad and wide with our gifts and our skills, often while even having our day jobs. At least I know I fit in that bucket. And so we're not just talking about the hustle, making money, which is definitely a benefit of being an entrepreneur. But we're talking about life work. We're talking about purposeful work. And hopefully, if you're out there and you've ever thought, I need extra income. I've got some talents or I have gifts and I know I'm supposed to use them, but I'm not sure how. Hopefully at the end of this series, you will start to stitch some ideas together about how you too can be an entrepreneur. So now that we have set the stage, I am going to allow Miss Linda Cross to please introduce herself, tell us about her family, and definitely tell us all the tea about her business. Over to you.
Awesome. Well, wow, that is amazing. The information that you have just shared. You have inspired me with that. Just beautiful. And beautiful is your mom as well. So that was a joy and a delight to see those photos flash upon that screen. So thank you for sharing. So yeah, so you know what I feel is equally fitting to start off. And I would, definitely need to speak about my mom as well. I was raised by a strong African American woman who, as you mentioned so eloquently, yes, she definitely had those hustles as well. So I remember her baking those cakes as one of her chosen skills, as well as seamstress. She was a seamstress for a little bit as well. And did a few different things, as all moms do, trying to make it work and make it work for the things that we're needing as we're growing up. So and all with her that full time position as well. So I always knew her to work a full time job, but then also had so many other things going on the side to support. And so, as a child, you're sitting back watching, or some of those Friday evenings were, sitting and watching her do those other businesses to take care of the things that we needed. And I literally remember watching her do those businesses, receive that income, and then pour that into me for things that I may have needed, whether it was school, choir, or field trip, really watching that happen. And so I think that definitely is deep down inside of me, and definitely kind of puts me where I am today. So definitely want to acknowledge Miss Virginia May Turner. Um, so that kind of brings you all out to me, and how did I get to become an author, and the author of The Pursuit of Momminess, and what is that all really about? So what I will tell you is that that definitely wasn't the first thing that I decided to do. I have done other things in my past. I really enjoy gift cards and gifting. So just different things that I have done in the past that all kind of accumulated to this pursuit of momminess. Because again, right, as I was sharing, a lot of that really was about taking care of my kids. I do have two wonderful kiddos. They're becoming adults right now. I do have a 22-year-old graduating, and I may say graduating cum laude, magna cum laude from FSU. And then I have a 17-year-old who will be going into his senior year this fall. So I definitely have two kids. I've been married for, it will be 25 years. So have my family there. And that, I think that's really what kind of put me into the motion and kind of set that scene, set the backdrop for the pursuit of momminess. And I remember a particular moment and where my daughter was in the midst of her teenage years, and we just were having a conversation about all the things that teens go through and the support that she had been receiving from me. And she was like, Mom, wow, I really acknowledge the things that you're doing. And she didn't quite say it in those particular terms, but she was definitely letting me know she appreciated me. And in that moment, I remember like it was yesterday. We were sitting on top of the stairs. We were near her bedroom. And I said, man, wow, we have to realize too that there are so many other girls out there, kids out there that don't necessarily have the same opportunities and resources that you've been giving just from the act of me being here, and your dad being here. And so that's what kind of got my wheels kind of turning in this whole mindset of how can we share to those that are out there, and provide that helping hand. How do we do that? And so a few years went by. And, my brain was still on that. And I remember we had relocated to the Houston area. I grew up in the Midwest, Missouri, Kansas City area. And we relocated at the height of COVID into the Houston metropolitan area. And again, my daughter made the trend. Of course, everybody was home. And so my daughter was home and just doing her thing, doing her whatever it was that she was working on. She was in college. Of course, she couldn't go back to campus, and she was doing walks. That was one of the big things that we all did. So she was taking a walk one night, and I, like, after a period of time, I was like, hey, where's Kennedy at? And I talked to her brother, and he's like, I don't know. And it started to get dark outside, and I'm like, wow, we just relocated. I need to check on her. And that became the backdrop for my book. And so I realized that she was becoming a woman and that I was going to have to release that. And of course, COVID gave me this opportunity to really think about that. And it was an opportunity not only for me to think about her and her becoming a woman, and me kind of releasing her, Black Butterfly, releasing that into her own. It was something that I really was able to chew on and really kind of meditate on and really think about. And I started at that point, pen to paper, and started writing the book about my experiences with my kids. And that's kind of how the pursuit of momminess came about and is out there now.
That is wonderful. So I'm sitting here blushing and beaming. First and foremost, hats off to and congratulations to your daughter for graduating from FAMU. She's about to turn that tassel. So that's why you have a glow, because you're beaming. You're absolutely proud of her, both of you and your husband. I know you are. I resonate so much with your desire to be of service and to provide wisdom and a point of view about the relationships between mother and daughter. My house, as you probably already saw, full of girls, three of us, my mom and my dad. And so there were many moments where we had that power struggle with letting go and allowing us to kind of be who we thought we wanted to be. But I am extremely, oh, did I say FAMU? It's FSU, FSU, Florida State University. We got to get her at the right school. I wanted to just kind of do my own thing so I can fully appreciate your desire to share that and to share that message. So one thing that we're definitely going to do, we're going to plug the pursuit of momminess. I bought my copies. You're going to learn throughout the course of this evening how to get your copy. It's on Amazon right now. And I also want to give you kudos as well. You wrote this while working a full-time job, top of COVID. Like, you had a lot of things going on. Before we get into the wickets of how you wrote this book, and I know it's doing well, because when I go and I see people ordering and writing reviews. You also have begun on the pursuit of, I use that word, pursuit of a nonprofit. Would you like to share with us a little bit about that as well?
Yes, exactly. Pursuit for Moms. And that is in its infancy. And I'm just beginning to get those wheels turning on that. But again, it kind of, as I mentioned earlier, it's how can we do the greatest good and how can we touch and make things tangible? And so, yes, I have this book and it shares a message, but at the same time, how do we really make some tangible impact into our communities? And so that's really what Pursuit for Moms is. It will definitely be a mechanism that allows resources to be put into the hands of moms. And so, yes, I have just begun that journey. It is officially certified and set with the state of Texas. And I am working on and partnering now with board members as well. and definitely, Karen, thank you so much for be, being willing to be a part of that as well. But yeah, so that's really what it's about. It's tangible resources, because at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. When you're in need, it's how can I get that? Whether it be funds for extracurricular activities, whether it's if a nursing mom who actually needs a lactation kit, pump, or those resources that are extremely not necessarily affordable. So doing things like that, getting those tangible resources into the hands of mom. And so that's what I also want to make sure that I'm doing. So knowledge is great, but tangible resources are even better when they're received, when they're needed.
No, that's good. You are meeting people, mothers as well as families at the point of their need, and that is always going to be a great endeavor. The theme for our event is the power of perseverance. So I love how you authored a book, whole book, and then you started to get the sense that there's more that I can do, and that's not easy. And so, how did you start on this journey? And can you talk about some of the challenges, setbacks, and maybe even some triumphs as you authored a book, as well as in starting your nonprofit?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the beginning, the idea, we get these ideas. I think the number one challenge in the beginning is actually making it real. And so I had these ideas, I started writing, and just being consistent and really setting that time down. And really believing in the idea and the concept. And so that was the first thing, and keeping myself motivated during that phase, that initial phase where I was just kind of, just really focusing on the writing part. I did a lot of things that really helped me from a spiritual standpoint. Receive messages, listening to other motivational, um, a lot of inspirational people that were out there, like Sarah Jake Roberts, Priscilla, just different people out there that just kind of really kept me motivated. And like, like I would listen to a particular series and then be able to get my, mojo and just go back, and continue on. So really utilizing those spiritual resources, that definitely helped me on the aspect of continuing writing. Um, from there, I realized, okay, this is really materializing. Then it became reaching out to those that I know had done this before. So, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not, really, wasn't trying to go out there and pave my own way. People that I had knew that were successful, I definitely reached out to those resources. I had a sister who wrote a book about, gosh, I feel like it's may have been almost 10 years ago. So I definitely reached out to her and partnered with her. Other people that I knew that had written works, I definitely researched and partnered and got different, their advice. And ultimately, I ended up partnering with a resource on, editing and all of that. So I did partner and utilize those resources. And then once I connected, I found out, like, what is this financially going to take? And so, like you said, I definitely continued working to be able to support this dream that I had, this vision that I had at the time. And so once I had an understanding of what those funds were going to cost and what they were needed, then I kind of like set that down in a section, and knew, okay, this is what I've got to do financially, but then I also knew what I had to do mentally, to make sure that I was able to complete the project. And so I just mirrored those two. So I saved to make sure that I could, take care of the financial part of it, but then also continue down the journey of writing. I also, during that phase, from the written part, partnered with, I think I pulled probably about 10 solid resources that were people that I had come in contact that knew me, and had different expertise. And so I definitely did share, what, and again, this is all, things that you can do. You don't necessarily have to, because sometimes people are really closed, and that's okay, because there's not a right or wrong way. But I definitely partnered with a circle of about 10 women that I knew, and definitely utilized them for, different things, from titles all the way down to which which cover do you like? So different things like that. I did have a group of 10 so that they knew what was going on, knew what I was doing, and then I definitely tapped into them, from time to time, to get their feedback on, things that they like. So I used that group. I definitely had my resources from a financial standpoint to know what I was going to need. I definitely invested in an editor as well. And then I also invested in a graphics designer as well, a young African American woman out of South Carolina, to do the graphics work for me as well. And that was really important to me, to have some women of color involved in my book as well. So I definitely compartmentalized different areas of need. I definitely leaned in on a village, to help guide me along the way, just to be able to have those conversations. And and a lot of that conversation was so positive. So definitely did that along the way, just to keep me focused, keep me consistent, and keep me going, and keep me motivated.
You are dropping some real, real, real good knowledge here. So, first of all, you and I are former coworkers, so that's how we know each other. We met while we were working at Amazon, and we just really connected. And what I really appreciate, and what I hope, I'm talking to the green button again, what I hope you all picked up on is that partnerships. Reaching out, having a tribe, having a village. You do not have to go on this entrepreneurial journey alone, and it doesn't make sense to do so. You also said that you didn't reinvent the wheel. You actually sought out folks that had done this in your own family. Your sister is an author. And I do that too. I bounce ideas off of my sisters, my friends. I bounce ideas off of everybody, not only for Feet Planet, but to make sure that my mission, my goals, like you are very clear on your audience and who you want to reach, what services you want to provide. And I know that that didn't come overnight, but the process of you pulling all that together is what is, I think, the jewel that I'm hoping our listeners are taking away from all this. Another thing that you said that resonated with me, and I'm sure will resonate with folks that say, I don't have the time. Like, how do you have the time to manage all of this? And so that's really my next question. Full-time job, mother of two, wife. How did you find time to author a book and then start to build a nonprofit?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think because it is something that I'm passionate about, you find the time. And I know that sounds like so crazy, but I think that is one of the things that lets you know, should I be doing this, is you want to do it. And so I remember waking up on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and knowing that my husband was doing X. He loves to play golf. I knew he was out probably at least 4 or 5 hours. Again, like, my son, he's an athlete. So there's things that I knew. Friday on Saturday morning, he's resting from the football game from the night before. And so that was like those moments that you take to find that peace where you can just really hone in on what you do. So Saturday mornings was one moment that I knew, based on what everybody else was doing in the house, that I would have at least 4 or 5 hours solid to me. So it's really, really key to find those times where there's a balance. What whatever is going on in the household, no matter who it is, when they've got things that they really want to do, and that pattern is there, and it becomes easy for you to be able to do things, knowing the patterns of what's going on in the household. So that's something that I have learned to utilize. I will say, early on in my marriage, it was frustrating to know that, okay, he's going to go do that. He's going to go fishing. He's going to do all of that. But then as the years go by, I learned that, to capitalize on that. Okay, well, if he's going to be gone for 4 hours, I can do this. And then now it became, I can do things that I'm focused on, that I'm passionate on. So learning how to balance those quiet times in your home that typically really are habitual times that you can utilize for free time. So I really capitalize on that. I know what they're doing. I know what their schedules are, and I use those windows of time. Another example, again, like if and this could be anything that your kids are doing. You know, they've got after school curricular activities. So it could be that you're sitting in the carpool line. It could be that you're sitting in the parking lot while they're practicing. It could be that you know they're not going to get done. They get out of school at 2, but they're not going to be done till 5 or 6. Those are prime times that you can utilize to do things that you're passionate about, because otherwise you're still going to be waiting, and it's still going to be blank time that you got to go pick them up or whatnot. So it's almost like this bonus time. So I really thought about those moments as bonus times, as opposed to, oh, they're gone and they're doing that, or up, he's out doing this. What am I doing? So I really utilize that as bonus time, as private time. And I still do that to this day. And again, like I said, it wasn't always that way, because a lot of times we see our partners go do things and you're like, oh, they're out having fun and I'm in here doing X. Well, you can balance it out. And you don't have to do it every day, because maybe some of those days may be the time that you do other things that are important for the family. Maybe it is to, get your grocery shopping done, but you can always balance it at least once or twice a week to give it back to you for bonus time. So really taking advantage of those moments, as a working mom, utilize those bonus times. Same thing at work. When you're going to have some time, that bonus time, whether it's work time that you got off, any of that time. Another thing that I will say concerning work, it's okay to do the staycation and utilize for that too. It doesn't have to be the whole time, because maybe you're going to definitely get away, but it could be that you take an extra half day before you go on the vacation to utilize for that. So stealing moments when you've already got things already planned that allow you to have bonus time for you. So seeing those moments as bonus times for you and really capitalizing on it, instead of seeing it as, what am I going to do for the 2 hours? Because he's got, I got to go pick him up at 5. I can't do anything. You can definitely do something for you concerning what you're passionate about in those moments.
I'm over here. I couldn't get to the unmute button fast enough. So as custom, you all know I take notes. I sit at the feet of everybody that is a guest on this show, because I love to learn. That's really good advice. I'm getting excited over here, because I loved the use of the word bonus. And when you're working and you're taking care of family, taking care of yourself too, hopefully, scratching out that time, even how I describe it. Every time I talk about making time for Feet Planet, I use words like scratching out, like securing, because it's almost like it's precious time. The way that you just described it is, it made it less of a burden and more of a giving back to me and giving back to my gift ting. You called it bonus time. I wrote that down. I absolutely think that is a really, really good word. The euphemism is that it's a bonus you're adding to your work and your purpose. I love it. I absolutely love it. And the staycation, that's big, y'all. That is truly big, because in the course of a day, work will ebb and flow, family dynamics. I mean, your children are teenagers. We already acknowledged your daughter's graduating from college. Your son is an athlete. He's involved in everything. So identifying, and I'm just parroting what you said. You said it well. Identifying those moments where you are by yourself and making a conscious decision to actually spend that time, bonus time, up front to invest in your entrepreneur pursuits, whether it's a plan, whether it's Linda said at the top, she reached out to 10 people or knew 10 people. You could even spend time making a list of the potential folks that you want to reach out to. That is gold, because I don't recommend anybody do it the way that I did it. I lost a lot of sleep, and what I really could and should have done, and I'm going to adopt as soon as we end this session, is I'm going to write bonus time. because how we see a thing is often the attitude that we take into it. So I truly appreciate that. The next
Awesome.
question I wanna talk to you about is, again, we're celebrating mothers. We celebrate you and all the other mothers who are not only pouring into their children, but teaching them, modeling those behaviors. So hats off to you. Is your family or your children involved in your business? And if so, what do you think they're learning from you as they watch you go on this journey?
Yeah, they're not so much super intimately involved. I definitely don't require that. I definitely know that I have seen posts that they'll share, or they'll take my lead sometimes. If I'm posting on Instagram and there's something that they really love, then I'll see them, circling that and celebrating it, or helping me advertise as well. So I love when they take their own initiative to do that. So I know that they're gleaming from that. I definitely know my son for sure is definitely a little entrepreneur as well. And then definitely my daughter has a different way of how she's going all about it, really focusing and honing in on her skills. So I love that. But definitely, they definitely take they're looking and gleaming at what I'm doing, and then adding it into their lifestyle, how they're doing it. But I definitely try to respect them for what they're doing. And, if it's something they want to do, then I definitely kudos to them. But it's definitely something that at this point, I have not, like said, hey, come join or whatever. Sometimes I do ask, but again, I just go off of what they're feeling, what they're saying and what they're communicating, because I never want to take my passion and have it be a burden on them, or have it be their passion, because they're their own individuals. And they seeing I think I'm happy with the fact that knowing that them seeing me do something is definitely setting the tone for them and inspiring them from the sidelines, for sure. But every now and then, they'll participate, maybe help me with some photos, or they definitely will give me some feedback as well. Tell me, you need to, get your lighting this, get your lighting, get this right. So I definitely receive that. Same thing with my spouse, with my husband as well. I just let him participate when he wants to participate. But it's definitely my passion and I enjoy it. But it's more so when they decide they want to get involved, and they get involved. So I know for sure that they're watching on the sidelines, and they're getting and gaining nuggets that they're taking back and utilizing. We definitely have conversations, but certainly my passion, what I enjoy doing, and that's what works best for me.
No, that's good. As you were talking, I could appreciate. We're in the information age, so you've got children at the perfect age to be able to give you advice on promotion, social media, lighting. I'm sure you get all sorts of ideas from them. It made me remember back when I was their age, and my mom was supporting other businesses. She started her own business out of all of the requests that she would receive for writing. Again, her profession was an English professor, extremely intelligent, bright woman who had a lot of insight. The reason that I share that with you is because when you have children, um, sometimes we felt left out. And it was their mom goes again, she's off to another meeting. And then slowly but surely, she would take us with her and she would say, take notes, or she would say, sit in the back and observe how folks are receiving the information. And the more she started involving my sister and I, the more we became just interested, and I just started to pick up nuggets. I started to learn. And so that's how my business acumen really started, was just watching her. So message, just sending out some advice for parents out there, for my moms, especially single moms, married moms, doesn't matter who. Involve your children in the process of your entrepreneurship, your ideas. You'd be surprised at some of the things that your children will be able to come up with. One, they see you like nobody else sees you. They see mom and dad all the time, and they have an appreciation, even though sometimes I'm just going to say it, we don't know how to show it because that those teenage years are rough years. Let's just say I was a teenager, so I know. But they see you in such a different way than others see you, and if you take the time to ask them, they're going to give you honest feedback. And that's just a really good way to not just get them involved, but just get some insight into how they see you moving in the spaces that hopefully you'll take them to along your journey. I think that that's just really cool. I want to actually pivot a little bit to the portion of this segment about advice. So I've been taking great notes. I've heard you talk about how you can meet the greatest need, reaching out to 10 people, using resources. You mentioned partnerships. There's a fallacy, a myth out there that you need X degree, you need all of this book knowledge, that you need X thing, pick a thing, whatever it is, in order to start your business. You need a new computer, you need all this software. And I'm here to tell you, personally speaking, that you really don't. You have everything you need to start that passion and that endeavor. And so here's my question to you, Miss Linda. What resources do you use that have helped you not only as an author, but as you start this journey for your nonprofit? What tools do you use that help you in your endeavors day to day?
Yeah, definitely. Now, it is, and this is probably aging me, it is an information highway. That is for sure. And so, man, you talk about dispelling myths. When you look at um, Instagram and social media and, all those different instruments out there, and you are seeing that, especially our young people out here, they are rocking it and they're doing some incredible things, and they're just using what they have at their fingertips. I mean, you've got women who are just cleaning up their home, and now they've got millions of followers and are just doing incredible, and leaving their day jobs. And so, definitely utilizing what's out there. I mean, there's some brilliant minds that are doing things, whether they're 10 years old or 70 years old. They're doing some amazing things, and it has nothing to do with textbook. It has nothing to do with that. And so, that's definitely a learning lesson for me, and that I'm continuing to learn, is just, having the confidence and the gut to just get out there and use what you've got at your fingertips. Because it's people are making things happen and are doing incredible, and have some incredible businesses out there, just based on the confidence that they have, and the belief in, that they can do it. And so, those are things that I am utilizing more, to even expose myself, as I'm getting more comfortable with with these tools that are out there, and using those out there. Again, I said this earlier, there's no reason to reinvent. I definitely utilize models that are out there, that are existence, and there are plenty of people who share and tell their stories. I think about there's just different people that I think of right now that have businesses that are successful, and pretty much almost anyone out there that you may be having as a mentor from afar. You can research them and pull up, and they'll tell you, all the different things that they did, all the bumps that went along, that they went along. If it does nothing except for give you the confidence to begin, then that's a great resource. So I definitely lean into those success stories that are out there, and pull that information, and utilize that for my next steps. So I'm definitely for, again, not reinventing the wheel, and utilizing the resources that are out there. Many of them, which is fantastic, want you to, research and utilize. They don't want you to go back and go it the hard way. They've done that, and they're sharing that information, and they're sharing that expertise. And then then you localize it. So you've done this research, now localize it, whether it's connecting with resources that you may have, or if you don't have, if you're thinking, man, I don't have a village, there is still in your local community, there's small business associations, people who are wanting to help you, and you can start off with a phone call and then go from there. There's local universities that have small business offices and units, and there are people that are there that are excited for you, that are willing to help you. And that's one of the things that I definitely have learned, is that once you're getting going, it doesn't cost anything to reach out, have these different um, information, different ways to retrieve information, and start having those conversations. And you will be so surprised at how so many people are so positive at the fact that you're trying to do something, that you've got the courage to do it. And you begin your network that way. So definitely utilize, again, if you feel like, man, I don't have the village, then definitely partner with small business associations, through universities, through your local city, the library. Just start doing that research. You can definitely Google that in person. You can call, and you can also do that through the internet as well. They'll definitely respond to you. But there are so many people who are willing to help, by helping you, motivate you, and give you information and tips that are out there.
That is so good. I hope you all are taking notes and listening. Everything that you could possibly dream of is at your fingertips. And I will add this to the wonderful words of wisdom that Miss Linda Cross has added. Is I've talked about comparison on my platform. Don't do it. I've talked about what it may feel like to saturate the market with your skill set. You are you. There's nobody out there that does what you do the way that you do it. You are unique and you are special. So as you Google, as you put in keywords and you look up what other folks are doing, use that as a learning platform. I love the term localize it. I circled it and I underlined it. That is excellent advice. So once you do your research, you now need to bring that information and let it rest where you are in your local community around the area where you live. And oh, that was just really, this was really good. We should have talked a lot sooner. We should have definitely talked a lot sooner in this process. I'm loving all of this knowledge and advice that you're giving. Speaking of advice, can you tell us what's the best advice you've received? And feel free to also do the converse and say what's the worst advice you've received.
Yes, I would say the best advice I've received is, whatever that I'm working on, continue to always do something, even if it's just a little something at a time. Just continue to work on your goals and your vision. It may not, you just don't want to stop. So even if it's just doing maybe it's reading a book on a particular topic, maybe it's continuing to write, maybe you're drawing. Just do a little something, often. Just don't cease and stop. Don't stop, working on your dream. Don't stop, working on your vision. Just do a little something. You may not have everything that you need at that moment, but there's other things that you can continue to work on to build that vision, to build that platform. It may be that you're just working on, your business plan, that you're jotting up, what your vision actually is on paper and what it looks like. Just continue to do something. And that was the best advice that I have received, is to always just continue doing something, no matter how small it is, and it'll just keep you in motion.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I wrote that. Always do something. And you said it before. I don't even need to add anything. Something is something, even if it's an affirmation, even if it's you telling yourself, today I'm going to do this. So often our dreams and the needs and services that have already been put in you to bring forward, they die. They don't even get air because you kill it in your brain with doubt and things like that. So even if it's just an affirmation to tell yourself that you can do it, that is still doing something. I think that's great advice. Um, I am not trying to be negative here. You are such a beacon. You even look like a beacon. You're wearing yellow. You're a beacon of light and positivity. So this next question is out of curiosity. What advice would you give to people who are what I call it getting hate or the naysayers? And feel free to add or share a story if that has happened to you. But if there's someone out there that says, "Yep, this is great advice, thank you," but I'm not receiving that from my community, or I just getting a lot of negativity. What advice would you have for that individual?
Wow. You know what? They always say you're not doing anything until somebody is talking about it. And it's so true. And people will talk about it even, like from a marketing perspective. All, all not necessarily, I don't want to use the word feedback, but all publicity is publicity, whether it's negative or positive. So all feedback that you're receiving, it means you're doing something. And we talk about that from a spiritual standpoint. When there's opposition, you know, um, God's coming. So if you're receiving that, that means you really have a purpose. Because that, there's some things that are popping in my mind from a spiritual standpoint. That should just get your get you boiling, like get you not boiling in a way of like angry, but like, whoa, I've got something good. If there's a lot to be said and people are wanting to give me all this attention for what I'm doing, that means you really have an idea. When you're getting all of that feedback, that means you really have something. And I can definitely say, go for it. So that's for sure. When you're receiving that feedback from that standpoint, you definitely have something bigger than woo, watch out. So definitely. And you hear so many stories of that where people have said, I was told that I wasn't going to be this. I was told, I couldn't be on this team. And if it doesn't do anything but drive you to be 10 times better, that's a force. But many times it just means that you have something that's exciting, that's amazing, and ready for the next level. And that's when you really need to just go for it. So if someone's giving you that much attention, you are gonna shine. You've got something. So definitely, I feel like that opposition means definitely, definitely you've got something in the works and stay on it. So that is for sure.
I love it. So for all of my folks out there that are getting haters, you're on to something. You're on to something. And let's just be real. Everybody has an opinion. Part of the maturation process, whether you're an individual, you're a mom, or you're thinking about pursuing an entrepreneurial purpose or your journey, there's always going to be room for improvement. And so I will add on to that: be open, be receptive, but don't stop. I mean, the advice is do something, even if it's a small something. Don't stop moving. But yeah, sometimes bad press is just like, well, thank you. Thank you for that crazy comment or that backhanded, because we were slick with our words. We we give backhanded comments, some of us. And sometimes that's the green-eyed monster. And sometimes folks are not going to be ready for who you are becoming in your entrepreneur pursuits. Some folks just I have a friend out there, Minister Lawrence. I'll give him credit. You can't. Some people are there for a season. You can't take everybody with you, and so part of the process. And I'm not saying that you need to just swat all of your friends away because they may not understand your vision. What I'm saying is that as you grow, as you learn, as you start to progress, you are going to change. Your entrepreneur pursuits are 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10 going to be met because there's something in you that you need to give to the world, that you're going to help somebody's life. And the pursuit of how you do that is going to change who you are, how you think, about everything. And so that lends me to my next question that I didn't give you ahead of time. I told you I throw in questions every now and again. How has, Miss Linda, the pursuit of momminess and your nonprofit, how has it changed you?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest change is just making sure that I am thinking of a greater purpose than myself. I can honestly say, in the past, I have done things, businesses, and at the end, I said, wow, I just feel like I'm just a consumer. At one point, and I'll give you a little back history on that. At one point, I used to have a shop. I opened up a shop and I sold Oprah's favorite things, and I was super excited, and I was featured in the newspaper, and I had all this press. And as the third year in, I said, "Man, I wish I really rethought that because I feel like all I am is providing a consumption, just being a consumer for those that are out there that are coming in and they're picking up these." And I felt like I need to be doing more than that. I don't want to just be somebody's, getting some favorite things. I want it to be more, but I had to have that business and I had that out there in order to say, oh gosh, I wish I would have made that connection. I wish I had something greater than myself and greater than those that are walking in here to take away something else besides, an item. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I learned in this chapter is, doing something greater than me and really wanting to help and actually doing that. So that has been the biggest thing about this chapter and why I wanted to make sure that not only that it was about that, but it really is helping others.
And that comes through in every syllable and every sentence that you put together. It is who you are. I just remember, talking to you as a coworker, and we were, strategizing and working through just the business of the day for someone else's business, and just your thought process of how you addressed problems and how you were proactive. It falls through in now the pursuit of momminess, and well, actually you had the book already written when I met you, but now in your nonprofit. And so I just adore you. I really do. And I appreciate you. I have a heart for all mothers. And I just believe that how we persevere and how we show up in our gifting is powerful. And so you are you're blazing a trail not just for those who will read your book, those who will be benefactors of your nonprofit, your children, your husband, your children's friends. Like, it's going to permeate through all of the touch points that are connected to you, and that is why I do what I do, because I get that same energy, and it keeps me going. It helps me persevere, and like I said, I take notes. I'm on the backside of my page right now with all of the wisdom that you're dropping for us. So, speaking of wisdom, this will be our last question. What words of wisdom would you like to share with our audience? I'm not sure who's out here watching, but just whatever it is that you think would that you like to impart, please share.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing is just, have faith, believe, and just continue to be consistent. Even if you have to take a pause for a moment, just keep believing. Don't give up in the things that you're passionate about. Don't feel like because things aren't going and how you envisioned that it isn't going to happen, because now you're just possibly getting ready for a new vision to add on to what you're doing. So keep believing, keep moving forward, don't stop, find, connect with others, You find ways to connect with others that don't necessarily have to be those in front of you if it's not what you're seeing. But definitely just believe and have faith, be consistent, and just continue. And it is going to happen. It is going to happen. And if you have to write that down for yourself, make notes around, it's going to happen. It will happen for you. It will, definitely.
I couldn't get to the button fast enough because I'm writing on my paper, it's going to happen. And it is whatever it is that you want, whatever product, whatever presence, whatever entrepreneurial goal that you have, it is going to happen. I'm writing it down real time because I believe in it. Write the vision and make it plain. That is what I believe. I don't know about you all, but I have thoroughly enjoyed this moment. Just to share with you, just give you a little peek behind the curtain. There's very little prep that I do when I have someone sit across the keyboard from me because I want what they say to be authentic. I want it to land on me authentically. So my responses are not fake. They're not all smiles and giggles so that you'll like and post and share. No, these are real time responses, and I'm writing and I'm getting encouraged. I'm actually getting visions of how to take Feet Planet further as I'm sitting here talking to y'all. This is real. This is real. It is not phoned in, and it's definitely not fake. So I just want to say thank you so much, Miss Linda Cross, author of Pursuit of Momminess. So just in case you all are tuning in and we're at the end of our segment, I am going to put this on the screen so that you can see who she is. Miss Linda Cross is the author of The Pursuit of Momminess. And she started a nonprofit for moms. She's already talked about her services. If you are interested in learning more about what she's written about in her book, I need you to go to Amazon. We didn't put a picture of the book up, but that's okay. Let your fingers do the walking on Google. All you have to do is type in The Pursuit of Momminess, type in Linda Cross, and she's got it for us. Hold on, let me take this down real quick so that people can see the book. Thank you. The Pursuit of Momminess. That's what it looks like. I need everybody to go get that book. If you are a mom or a mother to be, it is going to bless you. I have read it. I have bought 5 copies of my own that I meant to give to some mommies for Christmas. So when you start to see this book being handed to you, just remember Karen is late. That's all you need to remember. But let me throw this back up here, and I'm going to put on the music as we go out. But I definitely want you all. Let's see. Is my music playing? You know what? Sometimes it does exactly what it wants to do. There it is. All right. So you have been listening to The Power of Perseverance with my guest, Miss Linda Cross, author of The Pursuit of Momminess and nonprofit. She has a nonprofit for moms. You can find her and learn more about her on Instagram at Pursuit of Momminess. And her URL is up here. I'm not going to read it to you. Just take a minute, take a photo. Let me make the screen extra big for you. Let's take us out of the way so that you can have this in front of you. It has been an absolute pleasure. Again, I hope you took notes. For those of you that will watch this later, I need you to pause at some point. She dropped so much knowledge and encouragement that we all now have the power. If you don't, I definitely do. We have the power to persevere as mothers to be, and as entrepreneurs. All right. Thank you so much for joining us again. My name is Karen Mako Felton, and I hope that you have enjoyed this segment with us. Stay tuned, as I'm going to bring you 3 more amazing women to talk about their pursuits and to give us advice. Until we talk again, folks, I'm going to put this back up here so that she can wave at us. It has been a pleasure. Hats off to you. I cannot wait to see what your nonprofit is going to do. I know it's going to bless and touch many. All right, y'all. Until we talk again, have a blessed night.